Hey Eunice, good to see you. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good to be back. Talking of good, how good was it to see Leah walking onto the pitch the other night after 9 months out with that ACL injury?
Great. It was really nice to see her being able to step onto the field again. Of course, she's been training a lot with us lately, and the last week she's been able to train fully as well. So for me, it didn't come as a surprise, but I think when you haven't seen her in training, then maybe things happen more quickly for it. But no, it's really great. It's a great addition.
Not only was she back on the pitch, she was involved in one of the goals. What did you make of her performance and her impact on the pitch?
Very good. I think it's tricky coming on in as a central defender sometimes in 30 minutes there, and you need to get into the rhythm of it. But I think it was a nice game to come into because we saw a lot of the ball, so it was a lot of decision making. And I mean, the pass to Beth Mead's goal, it's almost as good as the finishes.
Yeah, she still got it.
She's definitely still got it, yes. If you've been worried, you can stop worrying.
How will the team's playing style maybe change now that Leah's back in the side?
I don't think necessarily that we will change our style, but of course, what Leah gives you as a player is both her ability to pass the ball between lines and break down defensive organization, but of course she's also very capable of handling 1v1 situations, so she can be quite aggressive in her positions and suffocating forwards. And those are two skills that is really important for us in the way that we play. So it's not about us changing our way of playing. It's just that we get in a player that is really good at this way of playing.
I know Leah's been in and around the players while she was rehabbing, but now that she's back playing, how does the changing room, the dressing room change with her presence in there?
I don't know. Spent very little time in the dressing room, but
Well, the
but
team morale then and the group ethos.
yeah, but the group has been very strong together, and the players that have been out injured has played a really big role in that, and developing the group and developing the way we play as well. So I think if we look the last months here, Lee has been very involved and played a huge part of the pitch as well. So that has come gradually. So that's not a big change here now in January.
You spoke about the impact that Leah has for Arsenal. After the game, Leah said, uh, hopefully I can get myself back in contention when thinking about the England side. How do you rate her chances of getting back to playing for her country?
I mean, it's
She
Sarina Wiegman.
underplays it. She's very humble with it, but what do you think?
I think you have to be humble with. It's one of the best national teams in the world, and Sarina Wiegman has a lot of good players to decide for. So I think she, be realistically, and now played 30 minutes in the Conti Cup. She needs to play more minutes in order to be available for selection for the national team as well. But there is a long time now until the next international window here in mid February. So I think it's all up to Leah what she does with those minutes, and then it's up to Sarina to select.
And finally, Eunice, I'd love to know more about how you've seen your time and reflect on your time here now that you're coming to your 100th match in charge. What's been the proudest achievement? It doesn't have to be the trophy. Is it a particular result or a particular performance that stands out in your mind?
Tricky one, but yeah, a few ones that I'm really proud of that we have achieved together. I think it was special to go to Lyon and beat them 5-1 when they were the reigning European champions. I think it was special to win a trophy and beating Chelsea in the Conti Cup final. I thought it was special going to the Champions League semi-final with the team and then being so close with so many injuries that we had and taking Wolfsburg to extra time and so close to a penalty shootout. I think that's my most memorable moment, and that's for good and bad reasons, because it was so much proud of being there and seeing the team performing so well despite all the difficulties, and sharing that moment with a packed Emirates Stadium. That was special, and that's the sunny part of that memory. But then you also have that dark side of the memory of being so close to go into the penalty shootout and then losing everything in the last seconds of the game, and not being able to repair that. That's also gonna stick. But I think that's what football teaches you, and that's what, yeah, you will have both good and bad memories, and sometimes they are combined into one.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jess. Tim.
Yeah, sure. Hi, Yunus. You referenced it there a little bit in terms of Leah's reintegration into the team, and perhaps with Beth and Viv, it's easier to give them 60 minutes here, 20 minutes there. With a centre-back, that's harder. Last year when Leah and Hathor were injured, they actually came back at the same time, so you could mix and match a little bit. But in terms of reintegrating Leah, how much trickier is that for you? Because probably unlikely that Arsenal are going to be 4-0 up with half an hour to go on Sunday, although fingers crossed.
No, I think you're right with that, and sometimes you might have to adapt to how reality looks like. There is very few teams that reintegrate goalkeepers by playing them 30 minutes and then 45 minutes and 60 minutes. I think that's one model how you can integrate a player, but there is other models as well, and we need to find one that matches the reality and the situations that we're in, and still being, first and foremost, making sure that she can return in a safe way, but also to perform as good as possible.
And the goal that Beth scores on Wednesday night, I felt like, for me, that felt like a real snapshot into maybe the second half of this season. We've spoken a lot about breaking down deep blocks, and I can pick out a lot of Arsenal goals over the last couple of years where that ball from Leah to Beth happens. So I know that's structured and that's worked on, but at the same time, very, very instinctive to play that ball over the top, for a player like Beth to be assertive and say, I'm taking this shot. How much of a different dimension do those two players in particular add, maybe to the instinctiveness and fluidity in the final third?
Yeah, it's two world-class players. And when you see a moment like that in the Reading game, you see the qualities. Of course, when you're coming back from an injury, it's about being consistent and being able to do that on a consistent level, day in, day out. But it's both getting Beth back and Leah back and other players coming back. It's great additions for us, and it gives us great potential for the season coming on.
And just finally from me, we're talking a lot about players coming back from injury, and those quite happy stories at the moment. But a player, we haven't seen a lot of at all since she signed, is Lena Hurtig, who's injured at the moment. I wondered what the prognosis was on her injury more precisely, and I guess how she's dealing with things, because she's been injured for a lot of the last 18 months, and I imagine that's been very difficult for her.
Yeah, I think any player that goes through injuries, it's a tough time to it, especially when it becomes repeated injuries. I don't have any clear prognosis on Lena at the moment, which of course it's frustrating, but we have to wait and see, and when we know more, then hopefully we can communicate that.
Thanks, Yunus.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Emma, and then we'll come to the call.
If you approach your 100th game, if you look back on the kind of growth we've seen in the supporters, both physically but also, when you go on away games as well, how much does that mean to you as a manager?
Well, a lot. I think it's one of the things that really makes, us unique. It's our supporters. It's how they fill the Emirates. It's how they travel in numbers. We go Wednesday night, the Conti Cup away against Reading, and all I see is red and white. All I hear is Gooners. It's incredible, and thinking about how it looked 2.5 years ago and seeing to where we are now, I think that's been incredible movement. it's such a huge part of what we're trying to build here, and let's hope that this is only the beginning and it continues. And usually it should do that. Once a snowball gets rolling, it goes faster and faster, and it picks up more and more snow. So hopefully we're building something big.
Brilliant. We'll come to the call now. Jamie.
Hi Jonas, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
Very good, thanks. Just the one for me, on Liverpool this weekend. Obviously last time you faced them it was a very different scenario. You had very minimal time together in pre-season. How are you looking to approach this game? Is there a major difference? And also any aspects of Liverpool that you guys have been focusing on heading into the clash?
Mostly we focus on ourselves, what we need to do. Liverpool is a very capable team. I think they obviously didn't have the strongest performance in their last game against Man City, and they're probably going to be up to correct that against us. They're aggressive in their pressing. They go player for player, and you need to be able to deal with that and to deal with that intensity as well, which is a challenge, but we're up for it.
Awesome, thanks Jonas, good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Dan.
Hey Jonas, hope you're well. Just following on the Liverpool theme, how impressed have you been with kind of how they've progressed in the Super League in such a quick kind of period of time? Obviously, they've competed with a lot of the top teams this season.
Yeah, like I said, I think this WSL is the strongest and most competitive that it's ever been, and Liverpool is a part of that. Amongst other clubs, they're investing. They're investing in their facilities. They're investing in their player squad, and of course that also gets them development on the pitch.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Jonas. Best of luck. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Phil.
Hi, Jonas. Just on Leah again, I just want to check, is there a chance that she could now start on Sunday, or is that unlikely as we sort of go through this sort of reintegration process?
It's very unlikely that you will get an answer from me regarding my starting 11.
No worries. Well, the next question then is about the squad in general. Is there any other change in terms of availability from Wednesday other than Leah obviously possibly being in the mix?
No, there's not. So we have, a really good squad to select from.
Yeah. And finally, in terms of likelihood, obviously we saw Gio go out on loan. I was wondering if that's likely to be the last bit of transfer dealing this month, or is that still potentially open?
That's still potentially open.